All right. All right. Are we live? I believe we are. Just connecting here. And we are live. What is up, guys? It is Frankie here. Welcome to a most unusual 2021 college football playoff show live reaction. The reason why this is unusual is because I'm on vacation right now, and the hotel room person has not cleaned up our stuff yet, so they might kick me out here within the next hour. I hope not. Hopefully I'll have to try to explain it to them. Hopefully they won't knock on my door. But here we are, the college football playoff show. The college football playoff selection show. It is live. It is here. We are ready. It is time to get excited. We are going to choose the 4 teams that will be chosen in this year's 2021 college football playoff. It's been a very unusual season. It's been a very bizarre year. A lot of parity in college football, which I think we all like. I think we're all happy about that. I can't imagine anyone just likes it when it's completely down the middle, just the same. So I'm glad that we have a little bit of craziness this year, and we have. I think we all agree what the 4 teams are going to be. We might have some people here who disagree, but I think most of us are going to agree with the 4 teams that are picked. Number 1 is probably going to be Alabama, and they deserve it. They're 12-1, just won the SEC championship. Had one stumble earlier this year at Texas A&M, but they bounced back. They recovered. Go Blue! All right, I'm assuming you're a Michigan fan, Lamario. Congratulations on Michigan here if they do this, which I think they will. I don't see any reason why they will not be. Alabama, interesting year. They started off beating Miami. They beat Florida in a close game. They beat Ole Miss. And then they lost to Texas A&M. People were wondering, is that it? And then they went through. They won the rest of their games. Beat Arkansas. Held on against Auburn just barely. And then won the SEC championship game yesterday. A dominant SEC championship game yesterday. And Bryce Young, I think we all agreed, locked up his Heisman Trophy win with that performance yesterday. So congrats to him. If that is the case, I don't see any reason that he's not going to be the winner. I mean, we had a wide-open Heisman race as well, and that's what made it fun. It was a wide-open, wild Heisman race, and no one had any idea who was going to pull this off. And Bryce Young, in the last couple of weeks, with the win at Auburn, and then the performance yesterday, really solidified his case, and that's why I don't see any reason he's not going to be the Heisman winner. So we have Alabama there. The second team is probably going to be Michigan. Jim Harbaugh has finally led Michigan to a playoff berth here. I was wondering what it would take, why it took them so long. I was getting nervous. It'd been 6 years, no playoff appearance, and everybody was like, "Oh gosh, Jim can't do it. He can't pull it off." I thought that it was time for Michigan to get rid of him, but they didn't. They held on to him. Gosh, we have 3-4 viewers right now. Yeah. There's not a lot of excitement right now in terms of. Hopefully this is going out. Hopefully y'all see this. But Michigan, 12-1, second-ranked team in the nation. Beat all throughout the Big Ten, lost to Michigan State. We got a little worried there, and then they held on. Michigan State lost. They won the rest of the way. They beat Ohio State. Finally, they beat Ohio State. It was a long time coming for Jim Harbaugh, for Michigan, to get that win. And they got it done, and they're going to be in it, and they're going to be a contender. I mean, if I had to guess right now, I'd probably say Alabama's the favorite. It's going to be either Alabama or Georgia. But we've already seen Alabama take on Georgia. Do we want to see that happen again? Considering that the game was nowhere near as exciting as any of us wanted it to be. I think we all wanted it to be thrilling, a great battle. And Alabama really blew out Georgia there in the fourth quarter, so that's going to be a little bit of a trouble there. If you really want to excite people about the opportunity of Alabama taking on Georgia again, it's going to be tough because we've already seen it. It's like when LSU took on Alabama in 2011 in that boring first game. That game 9-6, and then they did it again, and everybody was like, "No, we don't want this." So we'll see what the committee does there, but Michigan deserved it. Michigan's played good all year, except for that one stumble, and they finally beat Ohio State, and that's what it really all that it comes down to is that they finally beat Ohio State. And that's all that mattered there. So they are the second team that is in right now. The third team is probably going to be Georgia. Georgia undefeated in a wild, bizarre year. Georgia, except for Cincinnati, was the only team that was able to stay above it. But Cincinnati not in the major conference shouldn't matter in this case. But Georgia held on all season long, 12-0. Played great, fantastic football from start to finish. They've come close so many times. Obviously, 2017, probably the most prominent example. They lose to Alabama there in the championship game on the most brutal of ways. Now they have another shot here of getting back into the championship. They were, again, undefeated up until this week, until they got destroyed by Alabama. I don't know about destroyed. Again, it was close for the first half, and then the second half it really went away here. So Georgia's rankings here. And by the way, we're going to show the playoff selection show when it happens here in about 10 minutes. Georgia beat Clemson in a nail-biting game. That was 10-3. And then they went to a great stretch in a row where they beat Arkansas, Auburn, and then Kentucky. Held on all year, and then finally Lost to Alabama there last week or yesterday. Last week they destroyed Georgia Tech 45-0 and really put their stamp that they are the number 1 team in the nation. Although now they're going to probably fall down to number 3. Good for Georgia there. And then the final team that is probably going to get in, unless the committee really hates us all, is Cincinnati. And this is important because all of us knew that Group of 5 teams, it's much, much more difficult to get in. If you're a Group of 5 team, it is so much more difficult. It is so much the schedule. They don't want to give you credit for it. But Cincinnati, and even though Cincinnati's schedule was not the toughest, they beat every team in their way. They did beat Notre Dame, who's the 5 or 6 ranked team in the nation. They did beat them. And then they beat Houston yesterday, 35-20. So Cincinnati's 100% deserving of getting in. I don't know who else is going to be in that discussion. But I think absolutely Cincinnati should be in. Undefeated. They've been undefeated now for 2 years. They've been on a great run, and they 100% deserve to get into the playoff here. Now the committee could just mess with us here, and I mean, I don't think they're actually going to do it. That would be such a screw you if the committee decided we're not going to put Cincinnati in there. Cincinnati has to be in there. They deserve it 100%. Gosh, we have no comments here. Does anyone hear me?
To get in.
Okay, yeah. Apologies that my voice sounds like I'm underwater, but again, I'm on vacation here. I don't have my microphone with me, so you're probably just going to have to deal with this here. Probably going to have to deal with really bad audio, but I'm on vacation, so we got to make the best of it here. And so Cincinnati gets in, and Cincinnati's only going to get in because Oklahoma State yesterday loses in the most heartbreaking fashion. I actually watched that game at a bar, and that was a great place to watch a game. That game, watch it with people, because the shock when he did not get in at the 1. And that's why Oklahoma State doesn't deserve to get in. You had 7 plays inside the 1, and you couldn't score a touchdown. They don't deserve it. They 100% they do not deserve to get into the playoff. And Oklahoma State had a good year. Notre Dame had a good year, but they do not deserve it. The 4 teams that we've got, those are the ones that deserve it here. The question is, will the committee reward those teams? I would like to think they will, but it is the College Football Playoff Committee. It is the NCAA. They could show some bias here towards the big groups, but that would be really messed up. Cincinnati deserves it. Undefeated for 2 straight seasons here. They beat everybody they had to beat. They made the American Conference. They played great the last few years. They've made the American Conference Championship game a relevant game for all of us to care about. UCF, in a year like this, I think UCF could have gotten in, but I don't think UCF was good enough to get in, which I know is really weird to say. But I think UCF, while having a good year, I don't think they were one of the 4 best teams in the nation. Even though they won all their games in 2017, I don't think they were one of the 4 best teams in the nation. I think the other teams were better. And so I'm looking here at where these rankings are going to be here, and some of the rankings are coming out, like the Associated Press poll. I don't know if the coaches poll is out, but there are a lot of polls that are already coming out here in the last few minutes, and I think the AP poll came out. It's Alabama, Michigan, Georgia, Cincinnati, Notre Dame. So the AP has Alabama, Michigan, Georgia, Cincinnati, which is right. The college football computers, they have their rankings coming out. The six computers that the committee would use for the BCS, and I'm curious because I've been thinking, what would the BCS do if they were in this position? Which I don't know if that's a good thing. But in one of the rankings, the Massey rankings, they had Cincinnati at 6. They had Ohio State and Notre Dame ahead of them. I don't know if I agree with that. In Wolf's final rankings, Cincinnati was number 1, and it's Alabama, Michigan, Georgia. Sagrin, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan. Cincinnati against 6 behind Michigan and Notre Dame. Behind Ohio State and Notre Dame. Billingsley, Cincinnati, Alabama, Georgia, Michigan. Again, I don't know if Cincinnati is worthy of being the number 1 team in the nation. Cincinnati will probably make it, won't win a game. I agree, NFL Central. I like Cincinnati. I like the story. I think it's been a great, fun story to watch. I don't think they're going to get into the championship game because I just don't think you're taking on Alabama. If Cincinnati can keep it close with Alabama, I think that'll be pretty remarkable. But Alabama is a real tough. They are as close to an NFL team as we have in college. So that's going to be difficult. If Cincinnati can pull it off, that would be incredible for college football, and would make people happy because it wouldn't be Alabama in the championship game. But it'd be nice to see, and it would give Group of 5s. Because I fear that if Cincinnati performs badly, we're going to see a bunch of people say, "See, that's why the Group of 5 shouldn't be in the championship game," which I think is upset. I think if a Group of 5 team is one of the 4 best teams in the nation, they absolutely deserve to be in the championship game. So I think that has to happen here. But I hope they can keep it close, but I really have no idea at this point. And I should point out, because I haven't said it yet, because, again, I just walked in 5 minutes ago, so I've been very confused by that. But we are going to talk about the selection show. The selection show is going to happen in about 4 minutes. It takes 15, 30 minutes or whatever to have the selection show come on. So when that happens, we will talk about it. We will react to it. And we'll break it all down. So that will happen again in about 4 minutes. Stay right here. We'll react to it when it happens. We'll see. Again, we think we know what the 4 teams are going to be. The question is where they ranked. I can't imagine. Again, if I had to guess, I'd say Alabama 1. They're going to jump up to 1 here. I say Michigan stays at 2. I say Georgia goes to 3 because they're not going to move Georgia to 4 because we don't want to see Alabama Georgia again, at least not yet. And then Cincinnati's going to be 4. And I mean, yeah. I'm trying to think what excuse would the committee use to not put Cincinnati in the game? Because that's the fear, is that Cincinnati's not going to be in. That is the fear. The team has been as great as Cincinnati is not going to be in the playoff selection, in the college football playoff for whatever reason. And again, especially when Oklahoma State loses like that, when while Notre Dame had a good season, they have one loss. I don't think they're worthy of getting in. What would the reason be to not put them in? So it's going to be very interesting to see what the committee decides to do here in an hour. I think we know what they do. But it is the NCAA. It is the College Football Playoff Committee. They haven't been reliable to mid-majors in the past. Hopefully this time they will do that, but it's going to be right up until the end. We will not know until those final minutes what it's going to be. Again, even though we think we know, we'll have to wait and see here. So 3 minutes here, and again, we'll react. If you guys want to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, if you want to talk about college football, college basketball, even NFL, if we have the NFL starting in about an hour, we'll talk about that. I don't do many live streams. I haven't done them for a while. I think the last one I did was back in October for the Yankees. Don't do many of them. But I want to talk to you guys. I've done this now for 3-4 years, and I've loved doing it every time. So I thought, hey, why not do it again? Let's break it down here. So okay, I will say this. I really enjoy this college football season. The parody of it. I mean, last season was such a joke. Last season was such a nightmare. But this year, if Cincinnati wins the championship, that'll be one of the biggest college football moments in a while. It will be. That'll be monumental for college football if they get that, if that happens. And again, would change everything. I mean, Cincinnati's not going to be a mid-major for long. They're joining the Big 12 in a few years. But that a mid-major team won the championship, that would be monumental. I'm trying to think of when the last time a mid-major won the championship. And I don't, I'm trying to think in my head, but I don't have like the years of like what team joined what conference. But I can't imagine it has been a long time since it's happened. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but it would be nice to see it happen here. So right now they're showing NFL Countdown. NFL Countdown 2 hours long today as opposed to 3, so that we can get the college football playoff starting in a minute. I hope this is finished soon because I want to watch the Formula 1 race. I gotta pull up the Formula 1 race while this happens. Gotta make sure that see how that ends. But yeah, Alabama ends Georgia's 16-game winning streak yesterday. Bryce Young 26 for 44, 421 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. That is how they pulled it off against Georgia, and it's what they need to do. Just get some water here. Alabama, their 10th win versus the AP number 1. They have now more than any team ever. They passed Notre Dame and Miami for the most wins against an AP number 1 since 1936. And fair. I mean, they've had an incredible... But usually in the last few years, Alabama has been number 1, so they haven't had to beat number 1. But they did it this time. Waiting here. We're not getting a lot of viewers yet. I'm hoping here, as the hour goes along, we'll have like 100, 200 viewers. I'm hoping. That's what it's been in past years. I'm hoping that it happens this time, but people might be scarred off for whatever reason. I'm trying to see, like, if it's correct. Tell me what you guys think down there in the comments below, but we've talked about who the 4 teams are going to be. We think that it's going to be that. Yeah, okay. So what I was saying, the college football last year was kind of a joke. The way that the Big Ten had to play half their games, and there was no fans. It was just not fun last year. This year, though, was such a fun year because of the parity, because of the craziness, because you had teams that Cincinnati being in there. That's what made it fun. That is something that has been missing from the college football. It has been sorely lacking from the college football playoff selection show in years. Is that we haven't had really any. What's the word? Again, the parity. The parity has not been great. But this year, the parity hopefully will be a little bit better. BYU won a national championship in 1980 when Washington refused to play them and backed up a potential national championship game against them. Is that true? Okay. Honestly, I haven't heard that story. I feel like, as a college football fan, I should know this. But I thought BYU won in 81. But I knew BYU won a championship. I just wasn't sure, like, was it 80 or 81? And now the playoff selection show is about to begin here on ESPN. I'm looking it up right now. You're probably right about 1980, but I wanted to. No, Georgia won in 1980. Georgia won the championship in 1980. Okay. Okay, yeah, BYU won in 81. Teams, I was gone. It hasn't started yet. It has just started now. The selection show has just started now, which means it's going to take about 15, 30 minutes for them to actually unveil who the teams are going to be. So you're going to have to wait. We're going to wait here. We're going to talk about it together. It's Bama, Georgia, Michigan, Cincinnati. Yes. Well, that's those is what it should be. That is what it should be. But we have 30 minutes, and we have no idea yet. I'm imagining those are going to be the 4 teams. Alabama played well yesterday, but they didn't beat up teams by a lot in several games. Not sure number 1 is warranted. A whisper of having 3 or 4 losses. Fair. At the same time, though, they were the number. I'm just looking at the rankings that were coming in beforehand. They were the number 3 team in the nation, and they just beat the number 1 team. So that's probably going to jump them to number 1. Whether or not they should be number 1, that's for your conversation here. But I think they should be number 1. I mean, how would I rank it? I have no idea, but like that's who I think it should be. It should be number. I think about those 4 teams. I don't know if they should be in that order. But I can't imagine. I mean, Oklahoma State. They're just showing it on TV. Oklahoma State was inches away from winning this, from getting into this playoff. Because think about it, the committee's probably putting in a 1-loss Oklahoma State team if they win. You think Michigan will be number 1 or 2? I think 2. Because I think Alabama's going to jump probably over them because they won the game yesterday. So, and Michigan, while that was a good victory against Iowa, Iowa's 13, Georgia's number 1, so I think they're going to give Alabama the respect there. Which, it's just crazy, folks. It's just crazy when you think about the fact that every year, it seems like we always have that moment, oh, is Alabama done? Is Alabama? And then they're always here. Alabama's always here. Alabama is never going away until Nick Saban goes away, and then I'm not even sure. Like, I thought, oh, the Patriots will not be a dynasty anymore when Brady leaves. And Brady's left, and they might not still be a dynasty, but they're playing really good this year. Like, you can see them as an AFC contender, but that's also because the AFC there's a lot of parity in the National Football League as well. Yeah, if I had to guess right now, I'd say Michigan would be number 2. And that's fine. Look, you know, and yes, as I said, I don't think the committee wants to give us Alabama, Georgia again. They want to wait on that. So, Alabama will be 1, Georgia 3, Michigan 2, Cincinnati 4. Man. Just looking at the highlights of this year. Again, what a fun year it was. Just what a wild year. With so much drama, so much excitement, so many close calls, so many fans storming the field, which I didn't like. Like, when you storm the field, like, you should really... Like, it should be warranted, but now it's just for anything. I will say Baylor, there might be some discussion from some people, should Baylor get in? I don't think they should. Like, Baylor had a good year, but I think 2 losses, that kills you. And I am totally okay with the idea of somebody losing their conference championship game and playing. I'm totally okay with that. I want the 4 best teams. That's all I want. Give me the 4 best teams in this nation. And, they're showing the College Football Playoff Committee watching these games to show they actually do the work. You know what? Would it kill ESPN? Would it kill them or anybody? Would it kill them if they actually showed the committee's, like, hearings? Like, if we could actually see the committee, like, talking about them. Like, if there was, like, a 3-hour live stream discussed to debating the committees, talking about who they should or shouldn't get in. So they have a party right now at Cincinnati. They're having a party at Michigan. Oh, gosh, I hope Cincinnati's not disappointed. Oh, my gosh. I would hate it. I would absolutely hate it if Cincinnati was all there thinking they're going to make it. And the coaches poll is now out. Alabama, Michigan, Georgia, Cincinnati. So, again, most of these I'm looking at, it's like, yeah, like, those are the 4 teams. Again, I'm seeing some people say Ohio State. I don't think so. I'm seeing some people say Notre Dame. I don't think so. Gosh, that was the first Baylor Conference Championship game win in school history. So that was, who even is the predicted number 1 draft pick, do you think? Gosh, I feel like I should know this. 2021 NFL, or 2022 NFL draft odds. I go to Vegas for this kind of stuff. Like, who is the favorite right now to be the first pick? Let's see. We go to sportsbettingdime.com. Michigan, their 43rd Big Ten championship. Well done to them. Looking at it right now, Kayvon Thibodeau. Well, that's from October, so who knows? It hasn't been updated yet. Matt Corral, maybe. Carson Strong, Mike Wallace, Sam Howell, Evan Neal. Oh, we're talking, number 1 draft pick. Who do you think wins the Heisman? It's Bryce Young. Bryce Young clinched it yesterday. He had a huge spot to perform well, lock up the Heisman, and he did. So, yeah, so they have Baylor right there. They're showing, ESPN showing where all their teams are located. Their reporters. So, yeah, Notre Dame is there, and Baylor. So those are probably the only 2 teams that we think have a shot. But I don't think it's going to be Notre Dame, and I don't think it's going to be. I think if Alabama lost yesterday, or if Alabama lost yesterday, I think there would have been a very good chance that Notre Dame would have gotten in. But because now we do have 4 1-loss teams, Hutchinson, all right, possibly. And if this holds up, if it's Alabama, if it's Michigan, Georgia, and Cincinnati, we'll have 8 straight years where the committee decides to only take one-loss teams or less. Good draft then. Okay. Those are the end. Yeah, they've gone 8 years. I think it's a fine. I don't know how you guys feel. I love that. I love the idea of just having one loss or fewer. I don't like the idea of having two or if you lose 2 times, that's it. I think the committee does a very good job with that. And I will say this: I know there's some people with hatred for the committee. I don't think I've ever seen a year where the committee did the wrong thing. I don't think I've ever seen a possibility where the committee got it wrong. Hutchinson, okay, fine. Hutchinson, that's what we think there. I think if the committee, there's never been a time where I've looked at the committee and said they made the wrong pick. I think for the most part, for the last 7-8 years, I think they've gotten it right. People might have a problem with that. It's only 4 teams. If I were to make it 8 or 12 teams, what I would do is have. Let's say 12, because that's what's being discussed, even though there's some rumors yesterday that they might not get it done. I'd have the 5 conference championships, all the big conferences, and the Pac-12. I'd have the biggest independent, and I'd have the 6 at-large teams, like the 6 best of those of the rest, and I'd have the committee rank them. The one way I see Michigan losing is if Hutchinson gets blocked a good amount. Yeah, that's probably it there. Against who? Who would that be? Georgia? Yeah, that'll be interesting. I don't know what the lines are for that game yet. We'll see. Obviously, in the next few after the selection show, we'll probably have an idea of like who the favorites are in that game. I would guess it would be Alabama and Georgia in those games. I believe though, the last I checked, if we go to FanDuel, that it is Alabama and Georgia. Those are the top 2 teams in the rankings, and I think that's. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I think most of us thought it would be Alabama and Georgia. We saw these teams like, okay, these are two clearly the best teams in college football. Then we finally saw them yesterday show up, and it wasn't really that. It was exciting for the first half, and then the second half, Alabama just pulled away. So Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, they're showing them on TV right now. They're showing Marty Smith. They're showing the 2 other people. All right, so right now, I should point out the odds. So right now, if you go to FanDuel Sportsbook, the favorites to win, you have Georgia is plus 120, Alabama plus 140, Michigan plus 800, Cincinnati plus 1200. So those are the 4 teams, and according to FanDuel, it's a lock. Those are the 4 teams. Nobody else is getting in. And then the Heisman right now, Bryce Young is minus 3,500 to win the Heisman. So that's going to be, I mean, Aiden Hutchinson is the 2nd pick. Kenny Pickett, C.J. Stroud, those are the 3rd and 4th pick. So we might see them at the Heisman ceremony next week. I guess Monday or Tuesday we'll have the announcement of who the Heisman finalists are going to be. I'm guessing it's going to be in New York, but I haven't confirmed that yet. So I'm showing Marty Smith right now. Gosh. But yeah, Alabama, Michigan. Let's go. I wouldn't mind having that as a championship game. Two big schools. I mean, again, if Cincinnati would get in, I would love that for just the parity purposes of it, and because it would be a small team, like it'd be somebody new. But in terms of who I think, in this kind of college football season, in what may be the craziest college football season we've had since 2007, there's no guarantees. There's no locks. Yeah, they're showing Georgia right now. Of course, they're upset. I mean, they wanted number 1, but they're probably going to have to settle for 3, and that's fine. They'll probably end up with Michigan, and away they go. Oh, man. And you know, Notre Dame may have more of a chance if Brian Kelly didn't leave a week before. That I cannot believe. If Brian Kelly wants to go to LSU, fine. I cannot believe that Brian Kelly, a week before the season ends, and right on the verge of his team maybe getting in the championship, he decides I'm going to go to LSU. And that's it. Like, they're not going to put... I don't think they put Notre Dame. I don't think there's any chance that Notre Dame gets in because Brian Kelly's not there. But that was bizarre. That was quite weird. I mean, we've seen. I mean, the Lincoln Riley hiring shocked me too. The fact that one day after losing to Oklahoma State, he's off to USC. Even though I totally understand that hiring. Also, Cincinnati crushed almost every team they played. Most were in close. Yes. I do think strength of schedule should mean something here. The fact that in some teams it's obviously much better. It's much easier to beat bad teams than it is to beat good teams. So, yeah, they're showing the Formula 1 race right now on ESPN2. Michigan, their first Big Ten title since 2004. The way I think the playoffs will end up, Georgia, Michigan, close game, Bama, Cincinnati is going to be a bad blowout. I'm probably with you on that. I think I read yesterday that every year since 2014, there's been one semifinal that's been a blowout. So, There's probably going to be one. There hasn't really been that many classic college football playoff games that I could think of. Like, there's not many games. There been a couple games that were really good, but like not a lot of classics. I guess it's hard to be a classic, but you think about Alabama, Georgia, any of the Alabama Clemson championship games except for the last one. There've been some good, and that's another thing about this year. That Clemson, one of the top teams in the nation, not here at all. I think before the year, my four, I had Alabama, I had Clemson, I had Oklahoma, I had Ohio State. I had the top four. I said those are the four that were going to be in. They're showing who's the case for number one right now. Alabama and Michigan have the same record. Alabama has a slight better strength of record. Alabama has a better strength of schedule. And Alabama 9-1 versus the FPI top 40. Michigan 5-1 versus the FPI top 40. So all that right now is speaking of Alabama being number one. And I'm fine with it. And if they wanted to put Michigan number one, I wouldn't be angry with it because I was like, well, you did lose to. Well, which loss is more impressive? Which loss is worse? Like losing to Texas? Losing to Texas A&M. I really thought Michigan State was going to contend there. I mean, I think most of us thought when Michigan State lost to Michigan, most of us thought, oh, that's it, that's over. Like they're not going to contend for a championship now. Clemson is ranked 20. Yeah, we all amazing. Finally, we have a year. 32 senior players and their families gathered for team banquet. I don't think these guys can be denied. So it is ridiculous that we still don't know if Cincinnati's going to get in. They're undefeated. Like these guys don't deserve it. Coach Fickle, man, get that guy. I mean, I don't know if any major conference is going to think about getting him, but I wouldn't be against it. I mean, although we saw what happened with Scott Frost. Nebraska's like, sure, let's bring Scott Frost back. And Scott Frost probably would have been better off staying at UCF. Oh, man.
Well, Katie, as that may be the case in Cincinnati, reality is beginning to sink in here at Notre Dame, where players and coaches are beginning to focus not on the college football.
You're showing Notre Dame, right? Was Texas A&M unranked at the time of Bama's loss? I believe so. I believe Texas A&M was unranked at the time of Bama's loss. And that was another shocker. Texas A&M kicking the field goal at the end. That was a complete stunner. And we were wondering, is that going to be it for Alabama? And then, no problem. Alabama just wins the rest of the way. They beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, and they're back. It's amazing. What Nick Saban has done the last 10, 15 years, nothing short of remarkable. You look at what he's done since 2009. That may be a problem in the number, in the one race. Yeah. It might be. But if you look at it, what Alabama has done over the last 15 years, that they have been consistently good this long. And how many times they almost always contend for a championship? I'm trying to think the one year, almost every year, they're in it right until the end. You look at like something like Clemson, they fall off, LSU. Look at all the teams that have the stumbles. Alabama has been consistently good since 2009. And people might not like it, but you know what? Credit to them. Credit to this team totally. And yeah, Baylor right now, they have the day off. There's no watch parties. The coach is on a recruiting trip. Baylor knows that they're done. Looking back at the Bama schedule, some games are a bit closer to comfort. Of course. But they got the win, and that's all that matters, especially in this sport. When two losses, when you have so many two-loss teams, one loss is all that matters. Yeah, again, they know it's over. And again, great year for Baylor. Nothing to be ashamed of, but they know it's over. Looking back at the Bama, some teams were a bit close to go. Yeah, totally. All right. Do you guys have any other comments here? This year's insane. Last year it was boring just because Clemson, Alabama, and Ohio State. I didn't even watch college football last year. Like, I didn't even bother watching it because I was just like, I don't care. Like, it's just, I was not interested at all. I was just like, whatever. Gosh, there's like 4 other people right now doing college football playoff selection shows. So maybe that's my problem. There's like 100 of them. I'd rather have seasons like this, not the same 4 every year. I'd rather have more seasons like this too, but we know that's not going to happen. We know that college football is not built for parity. As much as we'd love to have years like this every year, it's not. That's just not common. It's just not normal. I will say this: as soon as this game ends, as soon as this playoffs, like who even won last year? Alabama. That was easy to predict. Like, of course, Alabama won. All right, so now the committee. Are they going to announce it yet? All right, so it looks like after the break, after a 3, 4, 5 minute break, we'll be back. So, yeah, Luke Fickell, man. What a job he did with Cincinnati. Getting this team undefeated.
When did you know that this was going to be a special team? It's just the way they approach it. They give it their best every day.
And Jim Harbaugh, man. You know, Alabama won last year. Jim Harbaugh, man. People gave him way too much flack. I mean, look, for the first 6 years, I'm like, my gosh, he should have won it. I thought eventually he was going to get it done, but it took him 6 years. And finally, year 7, he finally gets it done and he wins a champion. He gets him to the championship game. And I was saying that, like, all Jim Harbaugh needs to do is get to the playoffs, and his job is safe for, like, 5 more years. And he did that. He beat Ohio State. He got him that win, and now they're going to be in the playoffs. So we're gonna have a little bit of a break here, and then after that, we're going to be right back with the playoff. So we'll just talk for a few more minutes here. I miss when LSU was unstoppable. Somebody's just knocking on my door here. Wait, hold on. All right, I got to be right back. All right, I'm back. I miss when LSU was unstoppable. I do too. Joe Burrow was a fun player. Only if Burrow got to LSU 1 year earlier, I would have been ideal. But you know, you can't wish those things. Like some people still wish Tim Tebow coached at Florida or played at Florida. I'm like, you know, he probably wouldn't have gotten that far. Or not that he probably wouldn't have gotten that far. It's like that was it. Like it was over. Like, eventually, you ran out. Only if Burrow got to LSU 1 year earlier. That could have been the difference. That could have been the whole thing. Could have changed the whole thing. But all right. So we're gonna find out here. It's gonna be those sports. I can't imagine it's gonna be anybody else. And it should be. True. Like you only get to choose those. You only get to choose those 4. Like. You can't choose what years you get to come in here, so we should have got more YouTube viewers. Unfortunately, there's a lot of other people doing college football playoff selection shows. I was hoping there'd be more, but unfortunately, it is nice having you guys here. So I do appreciate having all of you here. So for everybody here, I'm very happy that you're here watching this with me. And again, as soon as it ends, we'll turn it off. We'll see who gets in. Oh gosh, I'm nervous. I just don't want people to scream and yell at the committee again. Because I just feel like that happens every year. The committee happens and people just scream and yell and go crazy. I just hope it's not warranted. So I know there's some people that don't love the committee, but I honestly think I don't see a year where I think the committee got it wrong. I think the committee for the most part has got it right every year. Gosh, just looking at the schedule here, we got a lot of fun things here coming up. Heisman championship game. We got the Bulls. We got the Division II championship game. Or Division I, the FCS. We have the Heisman Trophy. Got a bunch of things to look forward to here in the next couple of weeks as we watch all this stuff here. All right, here we go. Here comes the announcement. Well, first they're going to give us a long break where they just tell us everything that happens. Notre Dame should not get in. For Notre Dame, they showed every team and their coach, and for Notre Dame, they had to show like 5 seconds of the new guy, who I forget their name. He seems like it seems like the players really like the new guy, but can you face it to the TV for us to see it? I'm worried about copyright, so unfortunately, gosh. I mean, I can show up for like 2 seconds. Just boom, there it is. Okay, I can't show it due to copyright. Here we go. So if you want to complain, why can't you see it? It's because again, copyright, and I'm worried about that kind of stuff. Rank the team. All right, so the committee ranks the teams based on the committee's evaluation. Use conference championship wins, strength of schedule, head-to-head results, comparison results against common opponents to decide against teams that are comparable, blah, 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 blah. So, All right. Go on, give it to us here. They're never wrong because it's usually the same 4 teams always make it because of how good they are. That's why this year is so good. Yeah, exactly. I love how they make it into a show. Not no for the show. Yeah, no for the show. Sorry, I can't show you for the show. I'll be reacting to the show when it happens, but I cannot actually show you the show. Copyright, yeah. I'm worried about that kind of things here, and I'm not worried about getting a strike, so I can't show it to you. I can tell you what happens on the screen. Like right now, David Pollock's talking about something, and they're showing the big 5-person panel that they have. Is that Bristol? That's Bristol, Connecticut, right? I'm just sitting there going like, wait, where was Kirk Herbstreit yesterday, and how did they get to Bristol so fast? All right, here we go, folks. Here are the 4 teams. Again, it better be these 4 teams, or else I will have a nervous breakdown. Ohio State's number 6. They confused all of us. I saw Ohio State first, and I was like, what the heck are they doing? But no, Ohio State's 6th. And Baylor, by the way, Baylor's not in the top 6, it looks like. It's going to be Notre Dame. I mean, I can't imagine Notre Dame's going to fall, so I'm guessing Notre Dame's going to be 5. Baylor will probably be number 7. There's no difference. I want to see it from them. Of course. I understand why you want to see it from them, but yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. You just want to see the teams. Got it. So Ohio State's number 6, 10-2. They jump up 1 spot. All right, they're going to show us number 5. Notre Dame. All right, well, that's the 4 teams. Alabama, Cincinnati's in it. It's going to be Alabama. It's going to be Michigan. It's going to be Cincinnati. And it's going to be, who's the 4th team? It's going to be Georgia. So now, they just showed us 6 and 5. They were like, you already know what it's going to be. We're just going to tease you with the rankings. Notre Dame jumps up to 5, which I think is fair. And just think about it. If Alabama had lost yesterday, Notre Dame probably gets in. But it didn't happen. I mean, again, if Oklahoma State just gets 1 inch longer, they'll get in. So as we wait for the 4 teams, I think my TV is ahead of yours. LOL props. Yeah, probably. There's also a little bit of delay here. I just don't know live reaction. So I just want to tell you guys, if you're new to this channel and you like to see, make sure you subscribe down below for more content like this every single day. We talk about everything going on in the world of sports. We have NFL reactions, NFL picks tomorrow. We have NFL reactions. We have every NFL touchdown video that's coming out later today. We have NBA videos, baseball videos when they come back. We have a lot of interesting stuff here on this channel, so I hope you stay tuned for that. Cincinnati is number 4. Yeah. Yeah, Cincinnati's number 4, and honestly, they should be. There should have been no argument. Cincinnati's going to be number 4. That's what it's going to be. Now we got to find out who's 3, 2, 1. All right. I don't know if they've shown it yet, but yeah, like I don't know if there's any reaction yet. But Cincinnati is going to be the number 4 team in the nation. Congratulations to Cincinnati. They deserve it. Well deserved. They just played unbelievable. They made it. Yeah. Happy for Cincinnati. And yeah, there's the celebration. They did it. So you better play those guys. Better play those guys good. All right, and yeah, the ESPN's laughing at the people who thought they were not going to let Cincinnati in. I mean, legit fear there, but I'm glad Cincinnati's in. All right, who's number 3? Who's number 3? It's probably going to be. Georgia. 3's Georgia. Come on, give us 3, Georgia. Just give us 3. Yeah, 3's Georgia. Okay, 3's Georgia. 2 and 1. They dropped 2 spots. Georgia's number 3. So Alabama's going to be 1. Michigan's going to be 2. I think it has to be at this point. All right. So thank you guys again for watching this. We're gonna sign off as soon as this ends. So thank you guys so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed me and my rambling here for 30 minutes. We'll try to be back next week for the Heisman Show. Hope to see you guys then. What is number 2? Who's gonna be number 2? Again, it's fine. Georgia dropped to 3. Like you lose to Michigan, like you're number 1. Michigan wins, like it's fine. You drop to 3, but as long as they're in it, that's good. Come on, Michigan number 1. That's what we're rooting for here. Rooting for Michigan number 1. Let's do it. Hold on. We'll be right back. Hold on. Hey. All right. So it's gonna be. They're still debating Alabama, Michigan. They're still debating that. No clue at this point. It could go either way. Just give it to us already. They're just really teasing us. They're like, just come on. Like, we know it's probably going to be Alabama #1. Like, come on. Just give it to us. All right? And Alabama deserves it. Alabama 100% deserves it. Come on, Michigan #1. Hope and pray. All right. All right, still waiting. Still waiting. They're just taking too much time here. Like, just give us the 4 teams. I know you got to fill an hour, but just give us the 4 teams. All right, just give it to us. Alabama was 1, Michigan #2. That's what it should be. All right, they're gonna show it to us. All right, who's #1? It's gonna be Alabama or Michigan. It is Alabama, and Alabama's #1, Michigan #2. So the final 4 teams: Alabama 1, Michigan 2, Georgia 3, Cincinnati 4. So it's gonna be Alabama versus Cincinnati, and it's gonna be Michigan versus Georgia. Those are the semifinal games. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have to go now. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you subscribe for more. Take care. God bless. Congrats to those 4 teams.